Hey, welcome to the stream. I wasn't sure if I was going to make this stream because I literally stepped off of my job today working with a client, one of the helicopter companies, and like literally stepped off the helicopter at 3 o'clock. It's about an hour drive to get home, so I was very much like, we'll see. But I made it. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you're here too. That's why there was no like pre-stream kind of up and ready to go. But thank you all for being here and hanging out. So as we jump into it, if you have questions about the A9III, like that's the most recent video on my channel, and a lot of people seem to have questions about it, then ask away. I'll do my best to answer them. Yeah, more videos coming up. I did the first like very real world test with the Rode Wireless Pro in that I put it on myself, turned it on, and then ran around with it for 5 hours in well below zero temperatures. Filming stuff. And then also I spent most of the day, I mean, I have my A1 with me too, but I also spent a bunch of time filming with this, which is the A7C2 and the 16-35 GM2, both of which I rented from my local camera store. And pretty fun. I do like, I've used this camera before and I really like it. The lens I hadn't used before, but it's a really nice lens. Also spendy as crap, but it's good. So thank you for being here. If this is your first time here, then this is basically questions and answers. I'll have stuff I'll talk about, but also like if you have questions, this is the place to ask them because I can't keep up with comments, especially once I answer once, that's it. I won't ever see any more like follow up then. You can ask away and I will do my best to answer here and we'll all get along swimmingly. So Alaska filmmaker drone shots, Fantafly 101. Hey, yeah, are you getting hammered by cold and snow down there? And Brenner, yes, all is well. Thank you. TW, hey, TW, thanks for your kind words. I never place any, and the reason I know, like you hardly ever see me comment on that forum is it's like, there's no point in arguing with people online anyway, and the amount of troll comments that are on that particular forum is just insane. So I fully expected to get just blasted when he posted my video there. But you know, whatever. It was interesting because I could tell from the comments right away who never actually even watched the video because it, like, anyway. So, but thank you for being here. And thanks for coming over from the that forum. Wild Country Drone. Hey, nice to see you. Johnson City Ariel. Hello. Drone 360. USA Drone Flyer. Nice to see you all here. Hello from the villages. East coast of Oz. Oh yeah, Thursday already. Yeah, you crazy Australians living in the future. TW, you're in Germany. No idea. How's the weather there, TW? You staying warm? Cold? Warm? What's happening over there? So anyway, yeah. Also, if I sound a little hoarse or like get dry, I literally was just running and gunning the whole entire time. It was beautiful. There's some spectacular stuff. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see some like just little snippets. But yeah, the whole thing. We went out and the whole idea was to shoot promo material for them for ice climbing and for glacier ice caves, both of which were spectacular. It was just, I mean, it was probably 0, maybe 5 below 0 Fahrenheit. So is that like 10, 15 below Fahrenheit, something like that, I think. About 10 below Celsius, 10 below Celsius. And then it was windy, like pretty windy, so it was cold. I was comfortable and fine. I was surprised actually that any of the equipment held up. I had the Action 4 with me, which did pretty well. So a couple of videos that are coming out of today. One, the A7C2. Now that I've had the chance to work with it a couple of times, I took it on a trip way up north past the Arctic Circle a few months back, and then so that part of the Rode Wireless Go video stuff. But then I think what's going to be maybe the most fun for you if you've been a part of the channel for a while or you see me doing these things where people apparently think I own helicopters, what you're going to enjoy the most is that I'm going to put together a POV video of like what it's like to go on these things when I go to work. So you get to come along but not freeze yourself. You get to just enjoy the views. So yeah. Alaska Filmer thought I must have fallen into a glacier crevasse. Bummer. Interesting live stream. Yeah, in a glacier crevasse. No, I was in a glacier at one point today, but not in. I didn't fall, and I didn't. Yeah, so everything's good there. Will County drone. Hello, 16 Fahrenheit, South Louisiana. Wow, that's cold for there. Dang, USA Drone Flyer. Yeah, I think tonight it's supposed to. This morning when I woke up, it was -2 at my house. Fahrenheit. What is that in Celsius? I'm gonna look and see what that is in Celsius. -16. Oh, okay. So yeah. So it was -16 Celsius, almost 17 today in my house. Where I was working, it was actually probably more like -18 because it was a fair bit colder than -2, and the wind was blowing. So yeah. Great on the POV upcoming things and Brentner. Yeah, you're welcome. Punching on the road. I'm not going to repeat that, but okay. So TW2, I know it's 2 a.m. Why are you awake? But also congrats when you get the A9 and the 300 millimeter. I keep going back and forth. Like I was using the A1 today for a bunch of stuff. And I'm going to put a video together comparing the A1 and the A9 directly. I did shoot some stuff for it when Jevin was here. I think I have enough material to put it together. The only thing I didn't do was like a direct low light comparison, but I can run out and basically do the same thing I did before and match everything up. The thing I know you're going to love is the 300 millimeter. That is a beautiful lens. The 300 millimeter is gorgeous, and it's not so expensive like that. That's a lens I would consider picking up. I mean, it's $6,000. I don't know that I have that much use for it, to be honest, but it is. Oh, the lens is amazing. So, Evolutionary Tom, if you actually had to rent a helicopter for a job, what's the average hourly cost to do that? Evolutionary Tom, oh, that's an excellent question. So it depends on the helicopter. The helicopters you've seen in the last couple of videos are A-Stars. They're made they're made over in Europe, and they're considerably larger and considerably more powerful than the other ones you've seen, which are Robinsons. So the A-Stars, they run, I think they're probably about $2,500 for a flight hour, $2,500 for a flight hour-ish, maybe. Don't quote me on that. They might be $3,000 now. I don't know. Price have been going up pretty quick. Robinsons, like the R44s that I usually fly in, or that you've seen me do a lot of like the Inspire 3 stuff with, drone stuff with, those run, I think those are pretty much on average right now, probably about $1,000 flight hour to rent or to charter one. So, and that's, pilot and fuel, all that sort of stuff. That's, I'm not licensed to fly helicopters, at least not yet. I'm going to work on it this year. I would like to get my private helicopter license this year. I think it'd be fun. So, 10 Toes, hey, welcome. Alaska Live interrupted me. Mini 4 Pocket 3 video, Alaska filmmaker. Well, that was a pretty good one. Adrian's World. Oh, that was actually one of the questions, Adrian's World. I was not sent a DJI Mic 2. And so I'm debating about whether or not to buy one. It does seem like the DJI Mic 2, like it has some good features from what I saw. And this is my quick take on it, and you'll probably see more on the Rode Wireless Go is going to be pretty much focused on the Rode. Anyway, the Pro. Gosh, I keep calling it the Wireless Go. The Rode Wireless Pro video that's coming next week is going to be focused on the Rode Wireless Pro and why it's the best, because I got to think of some sort of catchy title to get people to watch. So, but like the DJI mic having the noise cancellation is interesting. It's better battery life. But there are a few things and it's small, so those are the things that I'm like, hey, DJI is winning there for sure. It's small. It's, The built-in noise canceling, very cool. I mean, I don't know that I would use it. I would rather use higher-end software in post. But the Rode Wireless Pro, for $400, I think is probably, and you'll see why in the video coming up next week, is the best wireless system on the market for 2024. And there are a few reasons for that. But I was a little disappointed that DJI didn't put any sort of time code into the Mic 2. They're putting time code into everything else. I wish they'd put time code in there, and who knows, maybe they will. DJI does tend to do amazing things with firmware. And then I was disappointed to not see any locking connectors in for attaching a lapel. Wow, I'm starting to fade from being out in the helicopters there. So I don't know. It's okay. They look great. They're obviously an improvement. I love the Mic 2 with the Pocket 3 is fantastic. I wanted to use the Pocket 3 today, but then I saw the conditions we were going to be going into, and I was like, no, the action camera is going to be better. And I'm glad, because there was so much blowing snow. And anyway, yeah. So, okay. TW, yes, the 300GM is amazing. You should get it in the next 2 weeks. You get the A9III in the next 12 hours? Dude, congrats. So I think you're going to be thrilled with the A9III. Yes, it has limitations, like the ISO limitations for sure. The dynamic range, yeah, there's less, but in reality, in practice, and that was some of the funny comments I was reading on the SAR website, is like, in practice, it doesn't make a massive difference. I was able to pull more than enough information out of my photos to get the photos where I wanted them to be editing wise, and just not worry about it. It was a little more noise in some cases, but not that much. I mean, you saw the 12,800 photos. Those were they clean up well. The thing that's different about it, and I'm starting to wonder if this is the A9III's global shutter is going to be noisier. It's not going to have a massive ISO, high ISO performance. But the thing I wonder about the global shutter is if it just has more consistent noise regardless of the ISO. Because when I did the side-by-side of the base ISO of 2000, and I had to pull the image up a little bit to match the exposure of the ISO at 20,000 or 25,000, I don't remember now. To me, looking at it, I was like, they 6 and 1/2 dozen is a little different white balance. The colors are shifting a tiny bit, but I don't know. The thing that shocked Jevin and I both out was the consistency of the noise across all of the ISO ranges was just very consistent with the A9III. And so, I started thinking about it yesterday or day before sometime, thinking that maybe it's because it's a global shutter, and maybe the global shutter just is more consistent on how it outputs noise. I don't know. Could be. I mean, I might be way off base, but it was interesting. It's interesting to be looking at the files, the actual raw files, or the log files of stuff video, and going, okay, the noise doesn't change dramatic. I mean, there's more noise, but it's not dramatically more noise. It's interesting. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what you think about it, TW, when you get yours. So yeah, it has the A9III has limitations. All cameras do. And when you know those limitations and you can just go and use it like you know you can within those limitations, then it becomes a great tool. And yeah, TW, exactly. And the other thing that I like is all these people that comment on stuff online. I'm like, okay, great. You're watching it after it's been run through an editing program, and then after it's been uploaded and massively compressed on YouTube. So people are like, oh, there's banding in the sky. It's like, well, yeah, there's banding in the sky on almost everything once you put it on YouTube, like, or banding, whatever. It just, YouTube compression does not do video a lot of favors. I probably should upload something to Vimeo or something like that to give a better examples, but, you know, I don't want to pay for Vimeo. So, hi, this is Dave. Hey, Jake. Let's see. Let me back up a little bit. I think I missed some stuff. Okay, that Kayak Medic, you just did a mountain flight in the R66. Nice. Very nice. The R66 is a fun helicopter. I spent today in an A-Star, which is a 7-seat turbine-powered helicopter. So yeah, it was fun. It was nice. I'm glad we were in it because it was windy and cold. Hi, this is Dave. Hey, Dave. That's your screen name. Kind of weird to say it out loud and not say hi back, I guess. Hey there, Jake. Got a birthday coming at the end of the month. Decided to head to Stewart's and pull the trigger on A6700. Although the A9 is quite impressive, just not your jam. Okay, Dave. It's the A67 is brilliant. I really do like it. If you have the budget, I don't remember how much more it is. If you have the budget for a little more and you want to get a bit better performance, consider picking this up, the A7C Mark II. So you get the same basically video specs. Well, you don't get 4K 120, but nobody really uses that much. And you get 33 megapixel sensor as opposed to the 24, but you definitely get better low light. And the stabilization, the handheld stabilization in the A6700 or the A7C Mark II is kind of shockingly better than the A6700. It was, when I was out there with this today, doing everything handheld with this, I was kind of shocked how much better the stabilization in that is. So this is 7 stops of stabilization when you use the active stabilization. The A6700, I think, is still limited to their like 5.5 or something, maybe 6 stops, but it's noticeably different. So anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. If you've got the budget for it and you want to get a little better performance for a little bit more money, then consider the A7C Mark II. So, and they don't have an A6700 to rent at Stewart's, but also something they do have the FX30, so it's the same sensor, very similar the way it works. You know, maybe rent that, and that's where this is rented from. The A7C Mark II I rented from Stewart's. Maybe rent them both out, go out and mess with them for a day and see which one you like better, and then go from there. So, all right. But congratulations and happy early birthday. Craig Godspeed, thanks for the bag breakdown. A real slap of the forehead moment when I understood that it wasn't just one hand warmer in your bag keeping things warm. Craig, so you should see my bag today. I had both the electric hand warmers, and I had 6, what are they called? Hot toes or whatever, hot pocket things, the little finger warmers that you buy, you know, the disposable ones. 6 of them. All my batteries were just wrapped in hand warmers, trying desperately to keep things from freezing. And I will say, first real test of taking the Shimoda bag out and putting it in the basket, which means outside the helicopter, and then flying with it in sub-zero temperatures. It was like -5, I think, when we took off. So minus like 18 C. And then and getting it there and then opening it up, and all the batteries were perfectly temperate. So it did a great job. The Shimoda bag did a fantastic job today. I will say that. I really like it. It's the same exact bag. The only thing I did was I hand carried this. But it's surprising when you put your mind to it what you can fit in a smaller bag and not take a bunch of extra stuff with you. So yeah. Anyway, but you're welcome, Craig Godspeed. Glad you enjoyed the video. Eddie Nunez, you gonna sell your A1, Eddie? Are ya? Kyle Watts, how's it going? I am way behind on the chat. Sorry. Pixel Peeping. Oh yeah, we talked about Moon Mullen. Been watching a lot of Jevin and Jake show up from there, and wow, all nail it with the pretty cold eagle shots are well. Everything is just amazing. They'll do. Thanks, Moon Mullen. I will. Let me say this about the eagle shots. Like I did shoot them, and Jevin shot them because we both shot like we were handing the camera back and forth and shooting. We shot them at really high shutter speed because we literally had, well, the sun barely came out. We had maybe 2 hours, and we were just trying to find an eagle that would fly to film. and it was much harder than you would think. And so we're just very concerned with making sure we actually got shots that we could use. So we shot at a very high shutter speed. The helicopter stuff I actually ramped way down on the shutter speeds, and it was still panning and still moving. So it's impressive. The stabilization, I was blown away by the stabilization of the 300 GM, the A9 with a 2x extender on the 300 GM, so 600 millimeters, and the A9 just being able to handle anything. It was pretty impressive. So let's see. Hey, Big Water, Mark H. Thanks, Mark. I'm glad you enjoyed that. It was fun. I was we wanted to go out and do some astro stuff so bad, or Aurora would have been amazing. The weather did not cooperate at all. There was just nothing. So TW, so much to comments on. Sorry. Yeah, there's a lot. I read those comments a lot, just because I think it's fun and it's funny. Like, yeah, it's like, okay, you're right. You know, I'm not going to convince you otherwise. Some of those people, it's not to argue with them, and I think it's funny. So the only reason I commented on that one was, like, people always go to, well, they're getting theirs for free. And Sony does not give stuff out for free. And it's funny because I say that in my channel. I'm like, Sony doesn't work with me. I don't work with Sony. They don't know I exist. As far as I know, they have no idea that I'm even around. So, like, every Sony camera that every Sony camera that I've ever worked with and reviewed, I've either purchased for myself and use it myself, or, like in this case, I've rented it. I think originally the A1, and there was, I think the FX30 once. There might have been one other camera, the A7R5, I think. I got a loaner through Sony Pro Support to evaluate. But yeah, it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. People commenting, keyboard warriors, it's dumb. TDI, you just deleted all your social media accounts. More time for some real life. TDI, it's a smart move. I don't blame you. I've turned all my notifications on social media completely off, and then I go online when I want to, and I check them, and then I tune out, because otherwise I get way too distracted. TW, so what are the typical lenses I work with? Great question. Honestly, so like today, the 16-35 was a must because of the ice caves we were going to be going into. And I wish I could show you. I didn't even shoot anything on the ice caves on my phone. Anyway, but typically for most everything you see on YouTube, I run the 24-105 f4. And then I have a 100-400 GM that I run a lot. And those are kind of like my run around Alaska stuff that I film with on YouTube. The 17-50 from Tamron, I've been using that a bit more because that extra width at the wide end is pretty cool. I have a 20 to, what is the Sony one? It's the 20-70 coming tomorrow. I rented from Lens Rentals, and I'm going to compare it to the 17-50 because I realized nobody's done a comparison about those two lenses. And I get it, like they're aimed at vloggers and stuff like that. But they're actually quite capable lenses. A whole bunch of the A9III video, as far as like talking to camera and stuff, a bunch of that was filmed on the 20-70 from Sony. So I'm going to do that comparison between those two. I do use that one sometimes, but most of the time it's the 24-105 because of that extra stabilization with the A1 is just a little bit better. And then the 100-400, I use that a fair amount. Those are definitely my most go-to stuff for like when I'm out doing stuff in Alaska. Or like the helicopter stuff I did today, that's kind of, I made some exceptions there, but I had the 24-105 on my A1, and then on this one I had the 16-35, and I just kind of ran with it because I didn't want to change lenses out. There was too much wind, too much snow blowing around. There's no way I was going to get a clean, keep the inside of the camera clean. So that, I do like the 16-35 GM2. It's a really nice lens. I don't know if I'll get one. I don't know. It's very nice, though. It's really, really nice. So that, okay. But then when I'm doing corporate stuff, like when I'm doing sit down interviews, podcasts, corporate videos, talking head stuff, I generally end up with the, depending on the space, it's either the 24 1.4 GM, which I also use at anything at night. Up here is the 24 1.4, and then the 50 1.4. Or if the space is larger, I love the 35 1.4 on kind of the A camera and the 50 1.4 on the B camera. But that's like the corporate stuff when I'm sit down inside, lighting controlled, all of that. But the runaround stuff is pretty much the 24 to 105 f4 and or maybe, depending on what I'm doing, the 100 to 400 GM G Master. And then sometimes I'll take like the 24 1.4 if we're going to be doing low light stuff, or I'll take the 20 1.8 for Astro. Either one of those lenses I kind of do Astro Aurora stuff with. And but yeah, so that's my setup. It's basically 20, 24, 21.8, the 24 1.4, the 24 to 105 f4, and the 100 to 400 are kind of my go-to 4 lenses. But like I said, since that Tamron 17 to 50 came out, I've been using that a lot more instead of the 24 to 105. It's that extra width has been pretty nice. I do find I miss the length at the end occasionally, but yeah. So okay, that was a long answer for my lenses. Hey M222333M. I'm sure that means something. I don't know what it means, but anyway. So Mark Perry, does the A7C II have the same heat issues as the A6700? Is the A7C better than the A7 IV? Mark, if you're going to do photo work mostly, then the A7 IV is better because it has a better EVF. But so I didn't do an overheating test with the A6700. I did run this yesterday after I picked it up. I ran it and it was like an hour and 30 minutes straight. Oh, that's why. Anyway, I went through a couple SD cards. I couldn't figure out why one of my SD cards just had no space on it. It was because I ran the heating test on it and forgot to format. So I ran it for an hour and 30 minutes straight. And it basically didn't overheat and the battery died. But that was at 4K 30 in my studio here at 70 degrees. What is it? 22C? 20 is it? No, it's not that. That's too high. That's too high. It's probably like 18C. 70F2C. 21. Oh man, I was close. 21C. So like that. I didn't do that with the A6700. Yeah. So I would say the A7C2 maybe does a little better, but it definitely gets warm in comparison. The A7 IV, if you're going between the A7 IV and the A7C Mark II and you don't need to save space, then I would look probably at the A7 IV because of the EVF and some of the extra buttons that you get is pretty nice, customizable buttons. The only reason I'm evaluating this is I am considering picking one of these up just like as my runaround in my bag camera for YouTube stuff because it is so much smaller. But I'm also looking at picking up the A9III, so we'll see. Basically, I was thinking like, well, I get the A9III, and then maybe I get this as like a B camera, and then sell my A1, and I've got, good photos, decent low light performance, and then the A9III actually, great photos. Anyway, so. Oh, that's who that is. Gotcha. -5 would be about -20C Tintos. Yeah, that's where we were today. It was I'd say by the end of the day it was probably only -15 Celsius, but it was cold. And then you have the wind chill on top of that. So it was. And the other issue is that nobody realizes how quickly you get dehydrated in extreme colds like that, because every time you breathe out, all the moisture that was in your lungs is gone. And then you breathe in very dry air, and that your body then has to rehydrate, and so you get super dehydrated really quickly. Plus, because it's that cold, your body is burning a ton of extra energy, calories, to stay warm. So it's pretty exhausting by the end of a day out in the extreme cold like that. Even if you're warm and you feel fine all day, like you come back, even drinking a fair amount, like you still come back dehydrated. You still come back, have gone through a lot of calories to try and keep yourself from freezing. TW. Have I ever tested the 12 to 24 2.8 GM? Is an option for you? Is a bit too wide? To be honest, TW, I love that lens. I've used it a couple of times. It's fantastic. I just don't have the demand for that focal length often enough to justify owning it, if that makes sense. Like, everything I do, pretty much every piece of gear I buy, I base on like, what is my return on investment going to be? And so like, I would love to own an Inspire 3 for a drone. It would be me buying it for fun and for kicks and giggles, because I don't have the demand for an Inspire 3. Would I pick up a job here and there? Yeah, probably. But 90% of my drone work can be done with the Mavic 3, and most everybody is really happy with that. And then, so I would love an Inspire 3, but I just don't have the work to justify laying out that much cash for one yet. And so I'm kind of the same thing for the 12 to 24. I wouldn't have enough use for it to justify buying one at this point. But I do love the lens. Every time I've rented one, it's a phenomenal lens. It's great. I love 12 millimeters is great. I like the 14 millimeter prime, I think, a little bit better. Because I've used that a few times, and I'm considering picking that up, like for glacier caves and stuff, for making big spaces. I've done real estate with the 14 millimeter prime, and yeah, I do really like that. But yeah, so let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Would you buy an official DJI refurbished drone, Sky Curtain? Yeah, I would. They do a good job with their refurbishing process. I mean, they basically, like, it's kind of like buying an Apple refurbished laptop. They make sure it's up to snuff. Paul, when I do travel gigs, do I have to bring all the lighting tripods with you, or do they provide some of that stuff? Like if I travel in Alaska, then I bring everything with me, because chances are nobody's going to have anything. So that can be challenging. When I've traveled like to the East Coast to Philadelphia and do long form podcasts with some of the psychologists and the doctor's offices I've worked for back there, I've taken lighting with me on those as well, because it's been such a fast in and out that it just would have been more hassle, more time to go get lighting from a rental house there than it was for me to take it with me. So most of the time I take it with me, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Kyle Watts. So yes, I take all my lighting and stuff with me. I don't trust them to provide anything, and I generally turn all the house lights off and light it my own way with my own lights. Kyle, you took your A6700 to Mexico when it was almost 100. It had zero overheating issues. That's good to know, Kyle. Actually, I think I remember watching your video about it, and I was pretty impressed that you didn't have any overheating issues there. I was like, well, then, if he doesn't, I sure am not. I'm not going to have any heating issues. We're doing what I'm doing up here. That's the other thing that it just kills me. I'm like, out there, and it's like snow is blowing and there's ice all around, and I'll get the comment, it's like, well, what about overheating? And I'm like, what about it? What looks like anything is going to overheat to you where I am right now? Like, it's not going to happen. Anyway, it's funny. All your comments and out of context. Nice Alaska filmmaker. That's awesome. Tyler, what specs would it take for me to use a DJI Pocket Cam instead of a usual Sony cameras for YouTube? Tyler. Oh, see, I've used the DJI Pocket 3 to film entire YouTube videos. And not just the videos about the Pocket 3 either. Like, a good portion of my Inspire 3 video was filmed on the Pocket 3, which is kind of ridiculous. So here I am filming on a like $400 or $500 pocket camera, talking about a $30,000 drone setup. But it worked, so for YouTube, like, I have no issue using the Pocket 3 for YouTube. And it's interesting. I did get a couple comments about, well, what about the Pocket 3 when I did the A9 video? And when I did my what's in my bag for 2024 video, and I do take the Pocket 3 with me a lot. It's a great BTS camera and just a great fun all around camera. But the issue is, it's like, for YouTube, for me, it's fine. For social media, it's fine. When I'm working for a client, I'm not going to hand them a Pocket 3 video, and I'm not going to film everything on a Pocket 3. I might film some stuff for them on the Pocket 3 if it's, relevant or whatever. But the rest is like, no, I'm taking very good quality photos for them and filming good quality video for them. And the Pocket 3, unfortunately, does suffer on the photo side. Like, it's okay, but it's not great. And it just, like, what do you want me to say? Like, I still have to use a good camera for clients. It's funny that that people, I don't know. Anyway, it's just funny. So, let's see. So, what specs would it have to have? Well, for me, the issue isn't just the quality of the video, because the Pocket 3 is actually pretty good. It's the ability to change focal lengths and change lenses. And but so essentially it probably have to have minimum 20 megapixel sensor for photos. And it have to have the ability to go at least do the wide 20 to 24 millimeter field of view, and then also do something like a 50 to 70 millimeter field of view. Though that would be also necessary if I was going to use it for client stuff. But for YouTube stuff, I think it's great as is. I would love a little longer focal length on it. So maybe the Pocket 3 Pro will come out and it'll have 2 cameras on it and 2 lenses like the Air 3. That would be pretty sweet. I would be thrilled with that. It'd be awesome. Robert, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Combo arriving tomorrow, and some accessories, new tool in the box, create stories. Thanks for the recommendations. You're welcome, Robert. I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. It is, something about it is so much fun because it's so easy to use. Like, pick up this, and the auto modes on it are good, but I am still constantly kind of checking all settings, checking everything, making sure it all works out and everything's good. With the Pocket 3, it's like you flip the screen open and it's ready to go, and you just start recording, and it produces really nice imagery. It's great. Yeah. The real battle between those full frame cameras and APS-C is the lenses are way cheaper for crop body cameras. That's true, Kyle. That is the thing. Like, even the low light, which used to be a much larger deal than it is now for APS-C versus full frame, is not the same. And now there's, you can get wide lenses, so you can get that really wide field of view if you want to with you get 8, 9, 10 millimeter lenses for APS-C. And you can get really fast glass too, like the Sigma. What was it? The Sigma Art series that was all 1.6s, I think. It's solid stuff. It's not the same argument. It is mostly like, how much do you invest? Do you want to invest in the ecosystem, and how much do you have to spend for lenses? So, but then again, for full frame, obviously it is more expensive, but Tamron's been putting out some great lenses for pretty affordable prices. So yeah. Anyway. Okay, TW. So how and when did I start my business, TW? So TW, I know Mark Bennett. Did I? That name sounds familiar. Mark Bennett. And I may not be able to connect all the dots right now, TW, because I'm a little bit tired after being like on the go outside for the day. But Mark Bennett. Why does that name sound so? Anyway, I'll keep thinking about it, and I'll probably remember after the stream is over. Oh, which is going to be in 15 minutes. Anyway, so TW, I started my business. This business, I was doing construction. My wife and I both lost our jobs. I didn't want to be doing construction, but it's a skill set that I have that my dad taught me, and so I was doing this stuff on the side, just for fun, mostly just to make videos with my kids and have fun and kind of share or record their memories, stuff we were doing together. And then I bought a drone and posted a couple of videos about it. And they got traction, and I realized there's a whole thing about YouTube and stuff. But then also, because of the stuff I started posting on YouTube about drones, how to use drones, stuff I was filming, stuff like that, that caught the attention of other people and brands who then started to want to hire me to do drone work for them. And that kind of, snowballed. And then a marketing agency here hired me for a while, or contracted with me for a while, and still does, to produce video content for them and their clients. And then in 2020, I shut my construction business down, and then COVID hit, and I thought I'd probably made a colossal mistake because like everything was shutting down. And I was like, that might have been the wrong time to shut a construction business down, because everybody else in construction at that time went crazy because everybody was trying to get their houses upgraded. But the interesting thing was that a lot of productions, a lot of brands realized the only way they could continue to produce content was use drones, because nobody had to be close together. And so, yeah, business kind of took off from there. And then, one thing leads to another, and here I am, having a blast. Kind of somewhat getting to live my dream life that I never knew was my dream life for a long time until I started doing it. And then it was like, it's pretty cool. Even today, I'm out there with the helicopter. We're taking off and doing stuff, and I'm working. But every now and then, like, I'll sit there and just go, wow, this is amazing. The stuff that I get to do now and privileged to do. And it's awesome. So, yeah, took a lot of years of doing it basically for nothing on YouTube to get to where I am and to build up, YouTube, and then also to get to where I started to find clientele here. And it took a bit, but yeah. And actually, that's a really good segue real quick. So one of the things I'm going to be doing this year is I'm taking less brand deals. I'm taking a lot less free products because I would rather buy stuff that I want to use and would like to work with and then tell you guys about it than have brands asking me to review their pink fuzzy slippers, which they'll still ask, and I'll just say no. So, and then as part of that too, though, I want to start adding in some videos about the business side of it, and not just about video and photo work, which I'm sure a lot of you will find super boring. But as one of the first videos I'm going to do is I have purchased every single one of these SSDs here. And I'm going to break down the differences between them, when you should pay more for one and when you shouldn't. Because there's a thing out there that manufacturers are doing. It's like, say it's the difference between these two. This one is, say, 1,000 millibucks a second. This one is double that speed, but it's not. And so you have to watch the video to find out why. But adding stuff like that in there to really help you, one, spend your money wisely. I don't want you to buy stuff you can't afford, and I don't want you to pay for stuff you don't need to pay for if you're not going to use it. So anyway, should be fun. So as part of that, like, I'll be doing some of that kind of stuff to help you manage your data and some other options out there. And then, and hopefully, like, if you want to do this full time or just part time, like, hopefully give you skills you need and business advice, and so you can get there. Because, like, it's been transformative for my family. It's been a huge blessing. And, not everybody wants to do it. Not everybody wants to work for themselves, but you might want to just have a little side income. Then hopefully I'll help you do that. Let's see. Air 2S or Mini 4 Pro looking to upgrade from the Mini 2. Sky Curtain, do you do a lot of photo work? If you do mostly photo work with drones, the Air 2S. The sensor for photos on that it's still much better than the Air 3 or the Mini 4 Pro. If you do more video work and some photo work, then the Mini 4 Pro. It flies longer, it flies better. 360 optical avoidance is great. The tracking is amazing. So yeah, that's kind of what I would do. I was going to buy the Mini 4 Pro and then turn around and sell it right away after I reviewed it. And then I used it and I was like, crap, this is actually pretty dang good. So I've kept it. It's a solid drone. I don't know that I would use it for client stuff, but for, like, if I'm going to be on a long, hard, grueling hike, or I've really got to watch the weight, it's the Mini 4 Pro I'll throw in the backpack because it's great. Let's see. Alaska Filmmaker, your actual question. How the HE double hockey sticks? Do you keep up the energy and motivation to run the sort of YouTube channel you do for the sort of lack of ad revenue return? You've done the math. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because they're like Matty Hapoya's taking a break. There's a lot of people that are quitting or changing or doing something different. So I like doing what I do. I am constantly kind of experimenting and looking for new ways to do it better and for ways to keep it interesting. But for me, the fun of it is, and that's why I'm hoping to do more of these kind of like POV style videos this year to bring you along. Because not only do I talk to you like while I'm doing it, like, oh, I want to get this sort of shot here and this is why I'm lining it up this way or whatever, that sort of stuff, which the first few videos will probably be atrocious at that because I'm not used to talking through my thought process as I'm doing it. But like it's pretty awesome, and the places I get to go and the things I get to see, and you know, and then too, like I don't want to say I'm on this vendetta, but there's a thing out there, and TW, you might agree with this. There's a huge segment of people who like cameras, lenses, filmmaking gear, whatever, that read spec sheets and then make a decision based on whether or not the spec sheet says what they want it to say or not. For me, this is a tool, and so my goal is to go out and find out what it can do, where the limits are, and then use it within that. Like, you don't use a finish hammer to drive framing nails. You don't use a framing hammer to drive finish nails. Well, I have. You usually end up with a lot more bruises on your thumbs if you do that. But like, every tool has a limit, has limits for what it's good for and what's not good for. So I don't really care about the spec sheets. I don't care if the A9 III has less dynamic range or says it has less dynamic range or a noisier image. I just want to know, what can you do with it? What can it do really well? And so that's where I think my videos definitely rub some of those people the wrong way, because like, I'm not the guy who's going to break down all the specs. There are people who do that and do it incredibly well. Gerald Undone is like the just next level of in-depth insight on, you know, what something does and doesn't do, and showing it all out on. And I'm more like, well, can you go make a beautiful image with it? Can you go capture something incredible? That's what I want to do. And that's more the focus of my channel. And people get ticked off too, because they're like, you know, well, you're just trying to sell it. And I'm like, not really. Like, I want to show what something is capable of, you know. And if there are shortcomings, I'll call those out. And because everything does have shortcomings. Oh, Mark. Oh, yeah. Camera Crisis. No, I don't know him. That's why I was trying to figure out why that name sounds familiar. So I'm in Alaska. He's in Canada. I would love to meet him someday. I actually like his channel. It's a lot of fun watching his videos. He really makes fun of people sometimes. It's funny. There's a few times I'm like, I think he's making fun of me in this video, but I don't really care. It's just funny. Drone Pilots Queen says, hey, Happy New Year. Mini 4 over Xmas. Very impressive drone. 04 is amazing. You have the Mavic 3 Pro, and the 04 is so much better. Do I agree? Yes, the 04 is better. I honestly, though, like, I use the Mavic 3 Pro Cine and the RC Pro because I make a good portion of my income with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't spend $5,000 on a drone. But like, the 04 is better, but for what I do and flying legally here within the United States, I don't see that big of a difference, frankly. But 04 is pretty amazing. The Air 3 with 04 it's pretty astounding. So, Tentos, you would not wear pink fuzzy slippers, but would you wear them if I told you should go out and buy them because I'm a self-important YouTube reviewer and my only goal is to sell things? I literally have had companies ask about pink fuzzy slippers, which is why I always bring that up. I'm just like, they're like, we love your channel. We think our product would be a great fit for your channel. And I'm like, uh-huh. Okay, nice try. Anyway. Moon Mullen, yeah, there you go. There's another vote for the Mini 4. I think if you don't do a lot of photo work, I think you'll be happy, super happy with the Mini 4. Tyler Gibson, have I thought much about doing software reviews? There's so much stuff coming out for content creation, Tyler. Yes, that is one of the things I'm going to dive a little bit more into this year, is not just like some editing tutorials and stuff, but also some software reviews. So like I've worked with Cinematch now for a while, the program, which is, I love it. And they just came, well, not just, like a month ago, they came out with their halation stuff. And it's good. It's very good. Like it has a few areas where it's still not perfect, like a real bloom filter, like I'm using right now, the Philip Bloom filter. But yeah, it is what it is. Have a great evening, night, morning, good day, Alaska Filmmaker. Exactly. Did I ever see Tammy's end of the year video where she dubbed over one of your vids? No, I didn't, Craig. Can you send that to me? I had no idea. To be honest, so one of my goals for this year, like you saw the What's in My Bag video, and I'm cutting down my gear, which I am, and I was very proud of myself today for not. I almost got a bigger bag out, and I was almost going to fill it up, and I was like, no. Nope. You said you were going to limit yourself. So I was super proud of myself for that. And it was good. It was great. Like I had everything I needed to capture everything we wanted to capture today. But where was I going with this? Oh, so one of my goals starting last year, but definitely this year, is also to consume less and create more. So I watch less YouTube. I watch less stuff online. I pay attention to social media a little less, and I just want to create more because I enjoy the process of creating. It brings me life, and I think that's important to stay connected to that, and not get burned out on like keeping up with everyone. Plus, honestly, the more you're on social media, the worse my mood becomes because I see what other people are doing, and even if I know that like so-and-so works with Sony and they're going to get or so-and-so works with it and they're going to get that. And like, I know that in my head, but still there are some times where I see them going, to a Sony event or something like that. That's the most recent example, I guess, probably with the A9III. And it's just like, it still affects you negatively. It still affects me negatively. And so I'd rather just not. Like, when that happens, whenever Sony decides to, work with me, then and maybe they never will. I'm okay with it. I'm just focused on going out and creating the most awesome stuff I can create, help you guys learn the skills you need to learn. So if you want to do this as a business or as a side income, you can, and then help you make wise decisions when it comes to buying gear. If you don't need to spend whatever these are, $2,200 on a camera, if you a $1,000 camera will do just fine. Yeah. And then you can see plenty of examples on this channel of where I've told people just use your phone. And yeah. Mark H, do I think the remote ID will have been Part 107 drone people? No, I think it'll more have an impact on non-Part 107 people, to be honest. Brad Henderson, is 16 millimeters wide enough for real estate? Brad, yes, it is. I would not go any tighter than 16 though. Like, honestly, I think 15 millimeters is kind of the sweet spot. 14 millimeters is great. 12 millimeters even in some cases if the spaces are really small, but 16 is wide for like probably 90% of real estate stuff. 16 millimeters is wide enough. Hey, loading fish mode. DJI T3 56x zoom, drop the mic, Luke Mama drone. I know, that's pretty impressive. I am messing around with the Skydio X10. I have one now for this project I'm working on with the state of Alaska. That drone is impressive, but it's also really expensive. But crap, Skydio like got their stuff together when it comes to building and manufacturing a enterprise class drone. It's impressive. So also, they kind of told me, like, go break this thing. Like, find out what it will take to break this thing. Because they need to know before they send units out all over the state. So I was like, okay, can I have that in writing, please? Because I don't want to be on the hook for $50,000. Anyway, so, but it is an impressive drone. It's very, very impressive. The only thing I can't do right now is the night stuff because I don't have the part that goes on it, the backpack that goes on it to broadcast the infrared so that it can see at night. But that's coming, hopefully soon. Many people use the Sony 16-35 for real estate, Kyle. Yeah, 16-35, like that is kind of the default standard real estate lens. Did I use Sony Cine cameras also, the FX3, FX30? Yes, TW. In fact, this right now, as ridiculous as it sounds, is on my FX6, which I love. And I'm going to do a video about why I picked the FX6 over the Red Komodo, because everybody else is seeming to be going, why I picked the Komodo over the FX6. Anyway, so the FX6, that I use that a lot, and it's fantastic for what it does. I've used the FX3 a few times, and then I've used the FX30 a few times. I've actually grabbed the FX30 quite a few times as a B camera for the FX6, depending on what I'm shooting, or the FX3, just depending on what I need. So yeah, and they're apparently getting a nice firmware update with shutter angle and stuff like that coming in May, which is fantastic. So, Craig Godspeed. Yeah, please send that to me. I'll have to go see if I can find it. That sounds really, really funny. $6,900, 3 batteries, $150, first AI drone. Look, yeah, right? It's expensive. Yeah, so the Skydio one. So the Skydio X10, I believe, starts, or at least like fully outfitted and stuff like that, ends up around $50,000. That's the one that they just announced recently, a few months ago or whatever. I think Billy Kyle did a real quick like first impressions of it. And I gotta say, like, it's on par with DJI's enterprise drones price wise, like their bigger the Matrix and stuff. It's the Skydio one it's very, very impressive what it can do. They really did an incredible job with it. It is not a drone you would buy to go film yourself with or stuff with. It's like 100% for like first responders, all that kind of stuff. But it's really impressive. TDI, don't follow too many trends. Yeah, and TDI, that's the other thing too. Like it's like, so I've been working with the Rode Wireless Pro for the next video that'll come out on the channel. It's tempting to go watch and see what a lot of other people say about it, but as soon as you do that, then you're like your thinking gets kind of locked in. So I've been using it a bit, and then today I really wanted to test it. So I strapped it on and took it out and just wore it with the lapel the entire day. So I have like a 7-hour, 6-hour something. I guess maybe 5.5, 6 hour recording on the transmitter. 32-bit that I got to pull into my computer and work with, but it all has time code, so I should be able to line everything up with time code and find all the parts I want to find, and it should make it fairly easy. Ideally, we'll find out. And yeah, so oh gosh, it's already time for it to be done. Shutter speed, you did miss it, but you caught the tail end. Probably worth a rewatch though. So yeah, so yep. Let's see. I know it's late where TW is. I know it's late where Shutter Speed Ireland is. I have no idea where what time it is where N. Bretner is in Australia. But I know it's getting late for many of you, and it's also like I need to stop and I need to drink a lot of water to get rehydrated from being out in the cold today. But some of that stuff you will get to see here in the next couple of videos on the channel, and then the POV video, like you're gonna get to watch a whole video of this perspective, a lot of perspectives, but of what it's like for me when I go for a day of work that looks glamorous and amazing to everybody because it's pretty cool, but also it's a lot of work. And so yeah, anyway, yeah, TW, no doubt it's very late for you, and I'm going to wrap the stream up. So, but thank you, TW, for joining the live stream. I appreciate that. Coming over from SAR, I'll take that as a compliment. Anyway, I hope you enjoy your A9III and the 300 when you get it. I think you'll be pretty happy with it. So I'm trying to figure out how I can keep my A1 and get the A9III. Yeah, I don't know if I can. We'll see. Other than that, thank you everybody for being here, for being part of the stream, for hanging out with me tonight. I should be back same time, same place next week as far as I know. In the meantime, like the Rode Wireless Pro video will be coming out, and another video that I don't know what it will be yet, maybe, but the Rode Wireless Pro video for sure. I got to see if I have enough content to do an A9 and A1 comparison head to head, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you all. Yeah, thanks for being part of this channel and part of this community. I really appreciate it. And until next time, be safe, be smart, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.